I'm calling this part 3 of 6.1. So the dungeon, I epically failed it. Now we have a 24-man in there somewhere. And there's an Easter event. What? I really wish they wouldn't add so much stuff all at once. So we're at Ishtola. Around 13 Razatan. This is pretty good so far.
Right, here we all are.
You discovered something new.
I took a closer look at that device. I was able to determine how it keeps the void gate sealed, but not how it might instead be employed to expand the opening. For that, I would need to reference the technique developed by Vritra's alchemists, no records of which appear to have survived the intervening years.
We know this, so why have you sent for us? Have you learned aught of value or not?
Patience, good sir. One must introduce the subject before launching into specifics. From what we understand, travel between worlds is accomplished by passing through the nebulous rift which exists between them. Picture, if you will, the moment you were called to the first. You touched a focus of some kind to help the Exarch pinpoint your location. His summoning spell then channeled the energies of the Crystal Tower to begin your journey to his world. The magics tore a hole in the wall separating source and shard, and cast you into the intervening nothingness. In that place, the laws of nature hold no sway. Yet even through this realm of temporal and spatial instability, you were borne safely to your destination in the first. The feat that guided you across such an unimaginable distance, both physical and metaphorical, was nothing short of a miracle.
Then what of the many voidsent found in the source? Who guides them here, and how?
An excellent question. Though there are several methods by which the Void's denizens might intrude upon our world, the rituals of summoning are the most typical. For example, let us consider the Gargoyle, a creature of middling power. To call upon such an entity, the prospective summoner must force open a void gate. The portal lasts but a moment and is relatively small, allowing only an imp or other lesser being to squeeze through with their physical body intact. Our more powerful gargoyle, however, is too large for that. Creating a gate big enough for him would require vast amounts of energy, far beyond the reserves of any one mortal practitioner. Instead, 'tis far more common to bring over only the entity's soul. We had a taste of that ourselves when a certain exarch dragged us to the first. And just as our bodies remained in our world, the Void Sense physical form is left behind in the 13th. Once at its destination, the summoned soul is granted a temporary shell to inhabit. In the gargoyle's case, a stone effigy has proven a suitable vessel.
Wait. You said that Voidsent must be called here deliberately by someone in the source, reeled in like a fisherman with his catch.
Exactly. For a being to navigate the chaos of the rift, with or without form, there must needs be a guiding agent on the other side.
She said must needs be. I say that all the time now because of this game.
When the hordes poured forth from Alag's Great Gate, it was the technologists who drew them through. Though to my knowledge, planar fissures are in essence natural passages between our world and the void, which require no such guidance to traverse. Why is only the boundary between the source and the 13th so fragile? So much so that it often tears open of its own accord.
I believe solving that mystery is key to understanding travel between the source and its reflections.
And how do you intend to get your answers?
No. The danger is too great.
Perhaps. But what some call danger, others think of as adventure.
Were you not listening to my tale? Never mind that the means to expand the gate has been lost to the ages. Even could you force the portal wide enough, you would be greeted by an army of murderous horrors the very instant you step through.
I assure you I was most attentive. And I agree that to go alone would be certain death. But if I were to bring along one who has already braved the 13th, and humbled the cloud of darkness, well, I imagine my chances would be much improved. I had a feeling you might say that. Once again, I put my life in your ever-reliable hands. That said, as much as I would like to march straight back to the Void Gate, there is the small matter of being unable to open it without the Satrap's personal authority.
As I've said before, I will grant you and yours any boon you choose to name, provided it does not endanger my people.
You have my word that we will take every precaution. Not a single Void Scent will be allowed to threaten Radzatan, assuming we manage to expand the portal in the first place.
You have a plan.
Actually, I had hoped you might help us with that. I presume the alchemists you retained supplied you with some explanation of their methodology.
That they did. House Daymir was overseeing the project.
Daymir. Ah, yes. The family associated with the great work.
I did not fully comprehend the theory, but their research began with a void scent which had slipped through the fissure. After a thorough examination, they created an arcane simulacrum possessed of similar qualities. A man-made void scent, if you will. It was apparently indispensable in their efforts to enlarge the gate.
A man-made void scent?
Yes. Being great admirers of the Archons, House Daymir submitted detailed notes to Charlene's official committee. They expected praise and accolades for their simulacrum, and were thus devastated to be informed that their work had been classified as prohibited material.
If that's true, then those notes might still be stored in a forbidden archive somewhere. Not Google, of course, since that library had yet to be built. Which leaves us with... Indeed. Numenon's restricted stacks may very well hold a copy. In which case, I say we head directly to Charlene.
Unless you anticipate needing help to reach the high shelves. I see myself being of little use. Go on ahead. I still need to find Mirad and tell him about the Kalzal Foundation.
Let us be on our way as well.
They are resolved to venture into the void. Do I sit idly by?
So, I'm really bad at remembering the story of the memory of the goldfish, but that place earlier, it reminded me of the Shadow Lord from 11. But, of course that's ridiculous, but it showed demons from Castles of Vol in that video. I mean, it couldn't be the Shadow Lord, right? I heard he has been reborn. Perhaps he was reborn again. Shadow Lord, like, would really take you back. The old Galka that was trying to right, which of course became a wrong, but he was just trying to do a right. That sounds so FF, doesn't it? Charlene, eh? Still in deep thought. Excuse me. But we're starting over, right? And the Shadow Lord is like the first big MMO FF boss there is. But this is supposed to be a new adventure. so it's probably not. We're not going to go to the snowy lands of Castles of All. As is she talking to me? We're to enter Namont, restricted archives with a minimal of fuss. Then we must secure the permission of the Forum. First, however, we shall need to enlist the cooperation of a member to broach the matter on our behalf. Who do you think might be inclined to assist us? No one springs to mind? What of Scholar Montichane? He did come to Graha's defense during the inquiry, after all. 'Tis settled. Let us head to Phenomenon and see if he's willing to help us once more. Oh no. Oh no. The mission in Mordana. What is that? The Wandering Minstrel. What is that? Bridging the Rift. That is where you want to go. I must concentrate. I must study. I must not digress. I must not lose Ishtola. Ola. It's a wall. We have been foiled. We must go home now. Oh. Was this his old classroom? Ah, visitors, and quite esteemed ones at that. What may I do for you? Pray forgive the intrusion, Scholar, but we were hoping you might help us secure permission to enter Namamanam's restricted archives. Oh, no furtive forays into the stacks this time, eh? No? I applaud this newfound sense of propriety, yet in all this wide world of comparative serenity, what so compels you to disturb a vault of forbidden wisdom? We want to bring demons into the world. Just kidding. We're looking for a 5,000-year-old dragon. And her boyfriend. Fascinating. I had no idea such a technique existed. I would have been surprised if you had. If my assumption is correct, the research left behind by House Demir has lain dormant in Charleon's archives for many centuries. And if you unearth this research, what then? Surely you don't intend to cross over into the void. That's exactly what I intend to do. My friend here has already done it. And to what end, pray tell? To develop a method of traversing the rift, for one, that I might keep my word to a distant friend. Sentiment aside, I have journeyed to the end of existence. I have heard, felt, and thought endlessly about the truth of our world and the echo of its future. And yet I want to understand everything, to unravel it all down to its very last secret. What scholar, worthy of the name, wouldn't force open a void gate or two if a grand revelation was the promised reward? Marvelous. An audacious proposal worthy of Master Matoya herself. And after hearing the whys and wherefores, I, for one, do not believe you would use the knowledge for ill. I see no reason not to present your request to the forum's consideration. Although, your petition would be better received if you also had the support of another well-placed acquaintance. We saved the universe, bro. You have to have references? Why, Master Fortunate, of course he can hardly ignore the earnest request from his dear children's most treasured comrades. I was hesitant to approach him directly, but there is no denying that having Master Fortunat on our side would tip the balance in our favor very well. We will pay a visit to the Louvière estate and plead our case. This was obviously going to happen. One last thing before you go. I would consider a personal favor if you might share with me some of the discoveries you make in the void. My appetite for knowledge is every bit as insatiable as yours. I'd wager, so if you could see the way to indulging an old man's curiosity. He's actually evil, dun 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 dun. Poor Scarlet. We'll be sure to pass on any revelations. Oh, so blue. Hop, look at this tool hop. No better way to go than in a curved line. That's pretty good. 100%. Oh, nope. I've fallen for that before. Can you run faster? Fun. Just drag you through the bushes and the tall grass. When you're playing a cat. Whew, it's a long walk. A hatching bunny! It's got a growth on its butt. Forward. You must not get distracted. Maybe I should dye my jacket pink. La 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 la. The butler. Ah, Mistress Moon, Mistress Estola, how may I be of service? We've come to speak with Master Fortunault. Is he home by any chance? Yes, the Master is in residence. I shall inform him that he has guests. Well, we couldn't come in? No snacks? No cookies? Well. Emilience would invite you inside for tea, but I assume this is not a social visit. I would drink tea. We have some matter of importance to discuss. Over tea. Then pray proceed. You have my full attention. Yada yada yada. Well, I suppose I should praise you for following the proper protocols this time around. Scholar Monteshane expressed much the same sentiment. I assure you will not attempt to circumvent the form's authority again, unless it's absolutely necessary, of course. You do understand that the restricted archives are restricted for good reason, yes? If no pressing need exists, then why risk the consequences of employing this forbidden knowledge? Boy troubles. For a brother who misses his sister, she was his guardian and his friend, a selfless hero who crossed the rift between worlds to save her homeland from the horror and suffering. But the brother has given up on thoughts of reunion. He spends his efforts elsewhere, watching over a people yet healing from the flames of the final days. Loyal to his duty while betraying the longing in his heart. 'Tis no vital mission, perhaps, reuniting these siblings, but it feels a worthy cause to pursue all the same. As one who feared losing his own loved ones, and spent years in research to prevent it, surely you'd appreciate how painful such a separation must be. Guilt trip. Reflections are still very much a mystery to us. Offering to share your experiences in the first should constitute a fair exchange for your cooperation. She's doing a lot of squint smiling. Do not celebrate just yet. The forum still must be convinced. I will add your request to the list of today's deliberations and deliver the decision to you at the Baldesian Annex. You're still here. Okay. Come on-ish. You know, I would prefer to live here than in Idleshire. Or not Idleshire. The firmament. That reminds me, I also saw a picture of a gingerbread house that is absolutely repugnant, and I will probably buy it. It is so cheesy looking though. It's like in such a weird little section. Suspiciously circly. Goodbye-ish. So, what did the forum decide? Uh-oh. To put it bluntly, Master Matoya has burned some bridges here in Charlian and salted the earth for good measure. When it became clear that her student was the petitioner in question, well, no few members voiced their discontent. Then the chamber was reminded, in no uncertain terms, I might add, of the incredible debt we owe to you and your companions. That served to silence the grumbles and stiffen a few spines, and it was agreed that allowing you entry to the archives was the least we could do in return. She's so wide-eyed and bushy-tailed. That is wonderful news. Thank you both for speaking on our behalf. Yeah, well, as I am sure you are aware, this permission was not extended lightly. Forbidden knowledge is to be treated with the utmost caution, and there will be repercussions if it is not. I wish you well in your endeavor, and bid you a good day. Are they saying that one? Uncompromising? Aye, but that very stoicism is exactly what Charlene needed to guide it through not one but two exoduses. Cat bit me for not petting her good enough. Ow. Mean. That went rather well, I think. As a child, I dreamed up any number of schemes for getting my hands on those forbidden tomes. Now I can simply walk in through the door. Our focus will be finding on House Demir's research notes, of course. The thought of so much knowledge at my disposal has me feeling a little giddy. Restricted reading. You'll be heading directly to the archives from here, I presume. And without tea. I read out loud, you know. That's correct. Then you'll want to speak at the index page when you arrive. It's been instructed to grant you access to the restricted section. Excellent. Once again, we thank you for all your help. It was my pleasure, believe me. May you find the knowledge you seek. Shall we? Ah, nice. She's back. Come along, Ishtala. Oh, hi. A mission in Mortona. No. No. I shan't do it. You can't make me jump off this rock into the pebbles below. I shall break an ankle. Where are we going? Where are we going? Seems like we should be going to the library, not to the tea house. Yes. Back whence we came. Who are those people? Oh my gosh. We'll never make it. Never. Can I jump on this rock? Oh my gosh, I made it! Oh no! Poor choices. Come back down. Floating away. There's no pudding in that tree. No more, no more. To think the set of instructions I laughingly imagined may actually exist but yalms away from where you found me napping. If I had known of Alzadal's Third's exploits sooner, I could well have saved myself days of research. Even a children's book might have pointed me in the right direction. To achieve the impossible, one must needs be flexible of mind, and look beyond conventional wisdom. A lesson I had already learned, but clearly not taken to heart. Archon, Ishtola, and Guest. Guest? Identify. Do you wish to proceed into the restricted archives? Guest? Follow me if you would. Watch your step and please note that the use of naked flames is discouraged. I'm gonna assume you mean literal flames. Don't burn the library down. My big lighter. Too small. These towers of books are not helpful in getting up to. Happy kitty. Happy kitty.
If House Damia's notes are to be found anywhere, it will be here. Let us begin.
Let us. There's a journal. It's all glowy, sparkly. I shall touch it. Untitled Goldsmith's Journal. Today, in a world not my own, I met the most beautiful void-born creature. She was so unlike her ravenous brethren, eyes blazing not with hunger, but trembling like a candle's flame, threatening to flicker out at any moment. I wonder if she is even the proper word. Such distinctions seem inconsequential, insignificant even. All that matters is the love I feel for this exquisite, transcendent being. You're tempted to read more, but this doesn't seem to be the volume you're looking for. Is this all about Voidsun? Well, here's a hefty one. Weighty even. Blind. Let's get closer. They just said no open flames. Naked flames. Look at that candle. That's as naked as a candle could be, and it's not even being attended to. Primal disquisitions. In the year 1564 of the 6th astral era, the Amalja summoned Ifrit, their patron god. Accounts describe the being as a gigantic lizard-like being with a potent command of fire-aspected magics. If we consider that primal summoning is an act fueled by faith and prayer, it is unsurprising, if not expected, that the resulting deiform entity should manifest the appearance and powers with which it is attributed by its worshippers. What then might emerge from the ether, should one who believes in an almighty, omniscience attempt the same ritual? Would the scholar himself grace us with his presence? Some other embodiment of divine sagacity? Could this man-made god truly be all-knowing? And if it were, whence would such knowledge arise? Isn't this the pickle we get into? I myself have many questions concerning the nature of the ancient world. With no spell to transport me back to the days of old, could I instead summon a being possessed of encyclopedic wisdom of every age, yet with no means to verify its pronouncements? How could one be certain they were true? They are but shadows. Though your mind spins with the possibilities discussed therein, this isn't the volume you're looking for. Leather-bound log. Epiphanies of House Demir. The following pages detail an advanced method for manipulating rift-spanning apertures, as devised by Nuhashin, the ninth patriarch of House Demir. We present these research notes to the faculty of Charlene's Studium as both a token of our friendship and an expression of our boundless admiration. This is the forbidden volume you seek. The Stola will need to make the final confirmation. Are there any other books in here? Or do I not get a choice anymore? They always make it so you pick the wrong one first. Have something you'd like to show me, do you? My apologies, I flipped open but a single book and was completely absorbed by its contents. Not this book. Well done. I think you may have found our prize. You think they did this because they knew it was going to be lost forever? That's a cool looking book.
Yes.
Birds.
The ether signature is unmistakable. I've felt the traces of House Damir's resonance many times at the Great Work. Time to see what all the fuss was about.
More birds.
Among the ranks of the Void Sent, there exist entities with the power to call forth their brethren from beyond. The species known as Atomos, however, is uniquely prodigious in this regard. From its distended maw, it can expel an endless procession of void-born creatures, a talent which sorely tested the Radiant Host in its battles against these abominations. Surmising that the entity itself was acting as a void gate, we endeavored to capture a small specimen and subsequently examine its physiological structure. Our findings revealed that the Atomos had absorbed a planar fissure into its own flesh, which it could expand at will into a functioning gate.
Remember Diablos? How we'd enter a void just to dodge his AoE?
Upon further analysis, we identified an ethereal wave pattern emitted during this process. A pattern we were able to emulate by passing crystal-stored ether through a specially designed prism. We proceeded to embed said prism into an arcane simulacrum, thus completing what we have dubbed our artificial Atomos. How could I have been so blind to the possibilities? This species, not to mention its ability to summon Void Scent, has been discussed among academics for years now. Just before the advent of the 7th Umbral Calamity, we received reports of Atomos sightings from every corner of Eorzea. Surely you've at least heard the tales.
Mm-hmm.
And still, House Damir went and built a mock Atomos of their very own. I'm not surprised the Archons consigned their work to a restricted archive. It was no easy task, but at last we've unearthed the volume we've been searching for. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't tempted to stay longer. See what other forbidden titles might be lurking on these shelves?
She should.
Ah, but that would be abusing the very special privilege we've been granted now, wouldn't it?
It's
Better
in the
not.
right to protect it. As much as I would love to start crafting the Atomos, I'm afraid this is far outside my field of expertise. Fortunately, we know a Hanish alchemist who would be delighted to involve herself in our House Demir project. Our business here is concluded for the moment. Please pass on our regards to the forum. Your message will be conveyed should you wish to indulge in more forbidden literature. I will be here. Patron mode disabled. Security mode engaged. If anyone can help us, Nidhana can. I say we return to Thavner and look for her at the Great Work. All of this is freed. There she is. The great alchemist, Nidhana. Ishtula tells me you are pursuing a most fascinating study, that you want me to be a part of it. I have no doubt you'll be interested. This research log should speak for itself. Will it now? By the sisters, this is the mark of House Demir. I never even knew such a work existed. We're allowed to take it out of the library? Few should. It was sequestered in Numenon's restricted archives, after all. It was, but that means every word within is forbidden knowledge. A forbidden tome filled with forbidden research, and you put it right into my unsuspecting hand. I can hardly wait to read it. That's fast. To think that Demir were developing such marvelous techniques so long ago. How many innovations have been lost over the centuries, I wonder? Now that you've glanced over the notes, what say you to helping us build a new mock Atomos? I say yes, 1,000 times yes! Work on a Demir project that had even the redoubtable scholars of Charlian trembling in their sandals? No alchemist of the great work could resist. You are a woman after my own heart. Oh, I suppose I should ask, what do you mean to do with this big-mouthed simulacrum once we have built it? Take over the world. So, there's a secret void gate, and it's sealed in the ruins at the bottom of the bounty. Today is a day of revelation indeed. Maybe we should have, sworn her into secrecy. If the purpose of our man-made Atomos is to expand this hidden portal, then I will need to see it for myself, I think. Manipulating rift-spanning apertures is not the sort of thing you want to attempt without first taking into account every single factor. Then by all means accompany us to the vault. I plan to lead us back there shortly, once we've finished gathering the components I require. I'm gonna build it down there? I guess that makes sense. Charlian's markets provided the raw aquamarine and pure water crystals, but I might need help obtaining a small quantity of astrally infused water. For such a liquid, you need go no further than the font of Maya. The ascetics of old once favored the place for their meditations, and the water which pools there now is known to enliven the flow of ether. That sounds perfect. If you'd be so kind as to fill a flask at the pool, I will petition Vitra to join us. The idea I have in mind won't amount to much without his authority to command the Void Gate. Shall I be about it then? We meet back here anon. Anon, I say. Anon. Oops. I have to go to that dot. My Chocobo's butt. Oh, there, hell yeah. A little bumpy up here. With a man-made puddle. Bloop. Whoa, why am I going so fast? Stop. Astrally dense pocket. Dead baby and people in this water. Yum. Baby didn't die. Dead mother. Here's your flask. Astrally aspected water. Yes, this should suffice. Thanks. Oh my. I want none of it. Void theory. The coup I came across, Estinian, seemed in need of diversion, and we, in turn, may have need of his lance. Right then, now that our little party is assembled, let us make our way to the ruins. Will we have need of Matsu's boat again? No, we're made of magic. We just have to go there once, and then it's magically there all the time. Not this time. Once Ishtola informed me of our destination, I arranged for a vessel to be made ready at Akiali. Your Excellency is ever the gracious host, shall be. Why is everything right here? It's just inconvenient enough. Dog butt. That's exciting. Ship is yours to command. Our thanks, we set sail at once. Oh, this is so exciting. Alzadal's legacy, to see the truth of a legend with my own eyes. All aboard the treasure vault. Proceed to Weaver's Warding.
ruins alone were impressive enough. But I never dreamed such a treasure lay hidden in the depths of the bounty. It may have been helpful to know this device existed, Your Excellency.
It's none of your business.
My apologies. The gate was a secret I shared with none but my closest advisors. I feared for what might happen should those with ill intentions learn of its existence.
What is it you're doing now?
There's something I wish to verify. The NOAA reports claim that a short stint into the void carries little risk of etheric imbalance. Should one suffer an injury, however, or if one's expedition drags on longer than intended, that risk becomes significantly greater. Graha theorized that a warding scale would confer protection from the void's corrupting influence. But I would prefer to test that hypothesis before we set foot in the 13th ourselves.
So warding skills were dropped from hippogriffs? That would allow us to jump through ether portals to hop from island to island. But you just have one.
So, this is an experiment of sorts.
Yes, an experiment. Tell me, how would you go about testing the efficacy of the warding scale?
I might as well go myself. Screw it. Say nothing and look meaningfully at Estinian. Send a familiar. A pig.
Very good. I see you've been paying attention. As Vritra sent his simulacrum, so too shall we rely on a familiar to bear the brunt of any unpleasant consequences.
I should have said Estinian.
Now, a lowly imp can navigate a fissure, no matter how narrow. Which means an arcane entity of similar stature should be able to manage the same. I hadn't wanted it to come to this, but no other familiars will do, I'm afraid.
I mislike the sound of that. What manner of fiend does she mean to summon?
From ocean rise and cloudbank form, from mountain spring and rainfall storm, from river flow and life be born. Water, water, froth and foam!
What the flip was that? Her voice. She made a bubble.
Ready your arms. I fear she's been possessed.
Oh, come now. That was adorable.
What? Aww. They're too cute. Look, they'll be seen in a void scent immediately. Was that not her plan?
Though not my first choice. These familiars I conceived of as a child have the best chance of fitting through the gate.
Oh, wow.
I only wish my younger self had considered a more dignified ending to the creation ritual. In any case, these two should serve as well.
Oh, I gotta see that again.
This one will bear a warding scale.
Ah.
And when they return from the 13th, we can observe how the talisman, or absence thereof, has affected the progress of the Void's corruption. If I could impose upon you to open the gate. Your Excellency?
Ah,
He's like,
Yes.
what?
We should also be wary of void scent slipping through while we conduct our experiment. Estinian, you are to keep Nidana safe from harm.
As you say.
You had best be on your guard as well.
Oh, the light shining on my nose. Froth and foam!
Oh, are you volunteering to join the Nixies? I could shrink you down, you know.
Now?
Let us begin, shall we? Nixies, into the void.
Shadow of the World. Go. Bye. Oh! What's gonna happen? Destination? Right. How does the 24 man get involved in this?
I think we've waited long enough.
They're just wandering over there. Now we're gonna summon them.
Nixies, return to my side.
How come I can't do that with just anything over there? Like a dragon. Oh. Oh no. Oh. We're all gonna have to shove warding feathers up our asses.
Thank you, little one. You did well.
I'm sure you should touch it.
The poor thing. Its essence has been irrevocably warped.
we're out of time. I must reseal the void gate.
They're coming through!
Close it and they'll chop them in half.
In the name of Alzadal III, I bar this door unto the void.
You think they'd be happy we're making it bigger? I like how it's just a cake lid.
Well, that was a sharp lesson in the dangers of void gates.
And what of our experiment? I'd say the results speak for themselves.
The unprotected Nixie has suffered extensive etheric corruption. As Nidana observed, It's well on its way to becoming a void scent. The one merged with the talisman, however, appears unaffected. I sense no changes to its equilibrium. Rest now, little ones.
I guess the warding talismans don't feel bad. We've had those before.
Graha's theory was correct then.
So it would seem. But while our second familiar was untouched by void energies, the talisman itself shows signs of degradation.
Uh-oh.
It was, of course, originally designed to shield the soul from primal tempering. It stands to reason that etheric corruption of a different sort would affect it differently. We may need to modify the warding scale's design to account for the 13th's uniquely unstable ether.
You've said much of the Void's instability, but my imagination fails me. What manner of place is this broken world?
Ah, my apologies. I forget that not all of us spend our days sequestered in dusty archives. The 13th is a reflection of the source that was drowned in a flood of darkness. In Emmett Selk's own words, this tragedy was a result of the Ascians' attempts to force a rejoining. They erred in their haste, and made of that world a useless void.
Wow.
You remember Una Kalhai, the unusual child we met during our troubles with the Warring Triad. He explained the fate of the 13th thus. The champions of that ill-fated world used the stone known as Auracite to contain the power of primals. But those self-same heroes were gradually corrupted by the Auracite's bleeding energies, transforming into fiends with an endless hunger for ether. By the time anyone thought to oppose them, Light's strength had grown too feeble, and the balance of the 13th tipped into eternal darkness. And what of your own experience? Will you tell us of what you observed during Noah's expedition? I can picture it now. The sunless, Stygian expanse, infested with legions of ether-starved monstrosities. A void in every sense of the word.
What you have described in such lurid detail is exactly why I hesitate to encourage you.
Worry not, great Vritra. Our journey into the 13th is but the first leg of a longer voyage. A voyage that shall lead us to other reflections, to new mysteries and discoveries. And I mean to be there every step of the way. But first I must focus on refining the warding talisman.
Then I can begin work on constructing an artificial Atomos. Or I could if I had the relevant manuals to hand. Might I be so bold as to request access to the Satrap's family archives? Your Excellency?
Oh, yes. That can be arranged. I will speak to my officials upon our return.
We will see you back in the city then.
Trap's duty. Once Nidana succeeds in replicating the Mach Atomos, this door into the 13th will become ours to open. Will you be crossing the threshold alongside us? I realize this is more my endeavor than yours. To be honest, I have no interest in visiting the void myself. Might we discuss this later? There is something I must do first. Got that kid on his mind. Why does everyone insist on behaving so secretive? I, at least, had good reason for not wanting to explain my Nixie ritual. Shall I proceed with our other preparations then? As we saw, the warding scale can be effective at protecting the bearer from other sources of etheric corruption. Nevertheless, the talisman's durability will need to be improved if it is to withstand the void's influence for a prolonged length of time. And I think that is a problem we can address without involving the brilliant but busy alchemists who created it. Who do we know who excels at this kind of structural augmentation? The Alliance. Garland Ironworks. An excellent suggestion. As I recall, Sid himself is no stranger to the void and its volatile energies. With his experienced hand at the helm, I have every confidence that the Ironworks can strengthen the warding scale. Come, let us visit their operation in Rogger's Reach and commission their best and brightest. Wouldn't that be Sid? We're gonna go see Sid. Wow. I mean, we saw Sid, but we can't really spend time with him and beg him to do stuff for us. Oh, they're in a restricted area. Took us right to Rogger's Reach. That's nice. What brings you to the Ironworks? We have a commission for you and your president, actually, assuming he's available. Master Sid's president? President of the Ironworks. I'll see if he has a moment. Big stick. Sid! Wow. Wow. A pleasure as always. I hear you have a job for us. I don't remember Sid being this short. Do I just look big? Heading into the void to find a lost dragon. That sounds almost pedestrian compared to your last adventure. Honestly, I don't know if you could say anything that would surprise me after a median and that bloody mess. Alright, let's take a look at this talisman of yours. You said there were signs of degradation. It seems some manner of corrosion has set in around a scratch on its surface. Much of the void's corruption seeped into Nero through his wounds. In which case, our best bet may be to simply prevent the scale from being damaged in the first place. And how might we achieve that? We have a coating agent for strengthening trinkets and the like, but I'd be wary of applying any compound, which might upset the scale's delicate alchemical balance. Far safer to dress it in armor. We'll construct a protective casing, one utilizing metal alloys with high ethereal conductivity, so as not to impede the talisman's primary function. suit of armor, as you said. Heroes compiled data on the 13th, so I'll have him pitch in with the design, just to be sure. Why does he have data on the 13th? If only it weren't such an ordeal to convince him to follow our safety protocols. I swear I've never had such a reckless employee. In any case, we may need some time to untangle the particulars. Understandable. We know how busy your schedule is, and the final result will doubtless be worth the wait. Ha. The hard part will be ducking Jessie and her constant barrage of demands while we sneak about doing the fun stuff. We'll see what we can do. I think we can leave the rest in Sid's capable hands. Let's return to the great work and see how Hana is getting on with the mock atoms. It's only been 5 minutes. Give her a second. Just had this lag is what I'm having. I don't know, it just suddenly felt like spring and like I was playing a brand new video game. It was a really weird feeling. I don't know.
Ah, hey Stola! The adjustments are going well, I hope?
'Tis a lengthy process, but the end is in sight, yes.
That's wonderful news. I myself had some good fortune searching through the Satrap's private records. What I found was a transaction log dated around the same period as when Al-Zadal's legacy was built. It included a purchase list of highly exclusive alchemical components, and I knew I'd discovered the key to making the artificial atomos. I then visited the High Crucible to commission the materials. After I'd explained my requirements, I was beset by volunteers insisting I allow them to help with the entire project.
The usual reaction to someone forcing open a void gate is to run for the hills. Harnish academics certainly are a different breed.
The alchemists of old were cut from a similar cloth. The unknown held no fear for them. Indeed, they were ever eager to seek new knowledge, regardless of the danger.
And were you not also fearless, heedless even, in your determination?
My sire entered his dormancy before I was hatched. And so it was Ashdaya who kept my eggs safe and warm. It created a bond between us. Even long after I learned to fend for myself, I rarely strayed from her side. She was my guardian, my sister, my dear companion. And not a single day passes that I do not mourn her absence. No matter how deep the darkness, I would not surrender my search. I promised myself the time would come when we would once more take to the skies together.
It's really more of his mom.
But I am satrap now.
The Radiant Host is here to serve, Your Excellency.
Nabdeen, what is this about?
Celestinian told us of your predicament. For centuries you have protected Rads at Han, never showing your true self, hiding behind a curtain and living only in service to the people. Your dedication meant more to us than your deceit, and so did we accept you as our rightful ruler. After all that you have sacrificed for this nation, did you imagine we would begrudge you your heart's desire? We survived the final days. We are a strong and proud people. We, the Radiant Host, will keep Thavnair safe in your absence.
I am grateful for your loyalty and for your encouragement. And yet,
Now you listen to me, Varshan.
Whoa. Sir.
You are wearing that face, after all. As I have told you before, you are a little brother to us all. And if you are family, then so too is your sister. We are there for you if you need us. But do not ask us to sit by and watch while you abandon a sibling you have ached to rescue for millennia.
This was all supposed to be a secret.
We will succeed in opening the way. It is only a matter of time. All you need do is prepare to step through to the other side.
Do you think after the final days they'd be like, nah, let's just chill for another 100 years and then you could deal with this?
Your Excellency, I wanted to thank you for building the orphanage. It means so much that my sister and I will have a place to be together, safe and happy. And I hope that you and your sister can be together again too.
Even he knows. Will you wallow in uncertainty?
you're saying I should seize this chance.
I'm not sure we should take the president of this place.
Take heart
from
and
the void
protect
zone.
them well. Such were the words I once said to you, and here I stand failing to live up to them. If my heart is torn, I am fit to protect neither Ajdaya nor Radzathan. My people, I have come to a decision. Vashan will depart Thavnair for a time. My dragon self will remain in the palace, but only to conduct the satrap's most essential duties. While I am focused on controlling this vessel, there may be matters that escape my attention. I rely on you, my trusted friends, to watch over one another until I return.
Take care and fair fortune, little brother. Many tears would be shed should you come to harm.
I would not dare make you cry.
You surprise me, Estinian. For a lone wolf, you've shown an unusual degree of, shall we say, involvement in helping Vitra reach this conclusion. Just for the greater good, the worm's thundering sighs were keeping his citizens awake at night, and had travelers believing the palace racked by some unnatural storm. What of your own answer, then? You seemed disinclined to venture into the void. Who wouldn't want to jump into a void of death? When I was one with Nidhogg, his vengeful thoughts were my thoughts, his endless rage my rage, and the soul-chilling grief he nursed for Ratatostra's death. I would not wish such agony upon a foe, let alone a friend and ally. If there is a chance we can spare Vitra that pain, then I will follow you. An unusual crew we have here. Indeed, but perfect for our purpose, I would think. I'd rather not bother the Scions with aught less than a dire threat to the star. Now on to specifics. Unlike the first, where the flood of light was halted before its devastation was complete, the 13th has been utterly subsumed by darkness. My plan as such is to explore the void in stages, withdrawing to safety after each brief foray. It would be more convenient had we some manner of base camp nearer to the gate itself. One of the palace chambers should serve. Come, let us reconvene outside of Magaduta. Magaduta. And so, we will require suitable accommodations. Might we make something available for our guests? All the chambers are presently hosting the great mounds of treasure we carried out of the vault. Once the Foundation's activities begin in earnest, however, we can redistribute the trove, make room or two ready for habitation. Maybe you took too much gold from the vault, bro. Good, please inform when you've completed the arrangements. Go spend my money frivolously so I can have a bed to sleep in. As you heard, we will have you settled in Magaduta in due time. As ever, you are most gracious, Your Excellency. You risk yourselves to aid me in my search for Azdaja. Providing comfortable quarters is the least I can do. I only wish we knew more about our destination. The gods only know how long our explorations might possibly take, or what our chances of success might possibly be. Succeed or fail, I am grateful to you for convincing me to make the attempt. On that note, I will return to the great work and lend what help I can to Nitana. If you've preparations to make ere we venture into the 13th, now is the time. She's telling me to go take a nap. All I need is my armor and my lance. Perhaps I'll train with the Radiant Host to pass the time before we depart. You know what this means to me, but my purpose need not consume you as well. We are headed to another world. Find what joy you can in the experience, for you are a traveler, an adventurer at heart. This I know. Maybe I got tired of offering a bed and they're just like, maybe you should go chill for a bit. Meanwhile, in the 13th, all the stalactites look like Zaval too. What's Zaval doesn't floating? Except for the Shadow World talks actually about me. It's at the top. Cassian. It's like a little house or something. Like it was, Elpis. Oh my gosh, there's a hand on his face. That's disgusting. Two.
Unless I am returned. To this world, bereft of saviors.
You should be happy to be in a world bereft of saviors. Let paths unblocked, adventures spur, pulses quicken, spirits stir. What? What? Looks normal. And then we have him. Joey's husband. Are you Joey? That's it? Alright, so I guess 24-man must not be related to the main story. It must just be unlocked when you reach a certain point in the story. Alright. So that means I can unlock Unreal, which I don't think has to be unlocked, it's just there. I can unlock Extreme and Singer, which I could unlock before, I just haven't done it. And that's gotta be it right there. A mission of murder, or it's the Taru thing. Right, it's 5:30 a.m. I have a couple of hours to sleep. So explore them tomorrow.